Namaste, friends. Always wonderful to be here and share together in this format. So as I take an exhale and invite you to, I thought we'd just get back to basics. It's always good to return to basics of what's called the three-part baseline check-in. And I'll just talk a little bit, then go to the mat. But what I want to invite you to do as we're checking in, if you want to use a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being real kind of slow, 10 being ramped up, that might be helpful if you're a numbers person to get just an assessment of our body, mind, and our hearts, how we're feeling right here, right now. And I also want us to take some pauses. There's going to be pausing through the practice and some breath retention so that we can feel that effect. It's very calming for the nervous system. And it's interesting practice to use breath retention. And we'll begin. Okay, we're going to start on the floor and I'll get situated. Oh, let me check the volume here. That would be something I forgot to do. And isn't that curious? It's not, there it is. Okay. All right, we got our maximum. Okay. So coming onto your mat. And easing on down. So using blanket, all the props around you. Exhaling. Low back, mid back, upper back plugs in as we press through the feet. The arms are going to expand overhead. And before we do our classic breath work, we're just going to make sure our back is released by hugging the knees to the shoulders and rocking side to side. Yeah. Giving kindness and compassion to ourselves. How much kindness can we bring in? Our innate goodness, tuning in with our innate goodness and compassion for others and for ourselves. All right. So planting the feet, hands on the belly, breathing into the belly, and just checking in of how your body's feeling. How's your body feeling? You want to inhale and draw the sacrum into the earth, arc the low back. Exhale, flatten. Not only stuff that's going, the different low back issues or knees, shoulders, hips, whatever, the stuff of the body. Get a general sense of the overall sense of how you're feeling. Tired, that would be a 1. Super energetic, that would be a 10. And then we want to check in as you're arcing and curling to the mind. How's the mind doing? Same type of thing. Sluggish, hard to, not super snappy with cognition. That would be a 1, and then a 10, super racing thoughts. The overthinking. And then, of course, what we want to be is around the middle, 5. And we'll get there. The practice will help us. As you're arcing and curling, how's the heart doing? What's the feeling tone right now? I mean, it's pretty moody here in California in terms of grayness. The practice will help mood enhance, bring us into our joy kosha. Just notice how you're feeling now in terms of the feeling in the heart, in general state of being. Optimistic, negative, just being really honest without judgment, what's going on with yourself. Okay, so we've done some arcing, curling. Now the breath retention, I'm going to sit up to demonstrate, but you're going to stay on your back here. So what it is, first I'll explain it. It's a 3-part inhale. We'll hold at the top and then exhale completely. So the first part is expanding the belly, hold, it's opening up the ribs, same inhale, hold, And then breathing into the upper chest, collarbones, hold. And then exhale completely. Okay, let's begin together with that exhale through the mouth. Inhale, belly, hold. Another inhale, ribs, hold. Inhale to the chest, upper collarbones, and hold. And then exhale, letting go. Letting go, letting go. It's time of year for that. Inhale, belly expands, hold. Another inhale, ribs, hold. Another inhale, upper chest, collarbones, hold. And exhaling completely at your own pace and time. I'll guide us through one more time, then we'll do two on our own. Breath retention, this is called. Inhale, belly expands, hold. Another inhale, ribs expand, hold. Another inhale, upper chest, hold. And then exhaling. The art of letting go. This really allows us to let go more completely. Two more at your own pace, finding your breath retention cycle. This is good to do anytime, but if you find yourself in that before you go to sleep, or if you get up in the middle of the night, and then letting go. So maybe we want to check in. Is there some kind of funky behavior or something we want to let go of? Notice what comes up for you as you inquire and as you breathe. Okay, we're going to get into the classic movement, opening the heart wide. The feet are going to go wide, windshield wiper. We'll exhale, pause. Lift the hips a little bit, swivel the knees over to the right. Breathing in, breathing out, and just notice as you start to bring that left arm up, really breathing into the left side of the body, left hip, left shoulder, lots of holding to go on there. And then we sweep the arm up overhead and affirm divine life is within me and all around me. Divine life is within me and all around me. Starting out as a master's invite us to the ultimate truth of that affirmation, moving us back to what's already home free. Engage the core, draw the knees up, take a pause, inhale if you like that retention hold, another inhale, ribs hold, upper chest hold, and then exhale. Or just full yogic breathing. If you feel yourself tensing over this, you're supposed to tense at certain areas, but if it's tensing in the mind, that's counterproductive. So we get it. All right, lift the hips, swivel over with the knees to the left. Take a moment and feel that right arm coming up, connect to the right shoulder, right hip. There could be so much clenching and armoring and protecting and these foundational areas of shoulders and hips. So we're opening up and we're sweeping that windshield wiper of the right arm above the head and affirming divine life is within me and all around me. Divine life is within me and all around me. Now you could say it out loud, you could say it silently, engage the core, and knees lift up and adjust onto your back. Exhale and take that pause. Either full yogic breath or breath retention. Inhale, belly, hold. Inhale, ribs, hold. Keep the inhale going into the upper chest, hold. And then the deep exhalation, either through the nose or through the mouth. Okay, lift the legs up and shake them out. Shake, shake. Yeah, we'll get into the legs here soon. Lift the arms to keep the shoulders on the ground. Shake and shake. And open up the palms of the hands. Squeeze and soak. All right, and we'll do those crisscrosses. So arms can be down by your side or out to the side. Notice what feels best to you. I'm going to do 8 of these, crossing, exhaling through the mouth. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then come into V. Extend, really stretch through those hamstrings, rock side to side. Ironing out the tension in the back. And then again, coming up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. V again. And letting the head go from side to side as well. It's getting really wide here. We'll do one more round in this, but we'll open when we cross, we'll open wider. And then cross and open wider, a little slower. Cross. Inhale. Exhale, any pace you like. Really tuning into the breath and the body. Of course, over and over again will help the overactive mind bring us into this moment in itself as we take a baseline. Okay, happy baby, reaching your hands on the inner arches of the feet or the little toe side, whatever feels good to you. Again, keep ironing out the back from hip to hip. We'll get the entire back here. Yay, and join those. Have the grace to have the baby in your life, and I know some of you do. Just embracing, maybe even bringing their beings into your heart right now. Okay, and knees hug in. We're going to rock and roll. If this is okay on your spine, taking your time, back and forth, gaining enough momentum. As we use, if this doesn't work, rock on your side, fingertips face forward. We'll do our reverse tabletop, strengthening. Inhale, lifting the hips, tucking the chin for most of us, and then that scoop out. The sit bones go back toward the wrists, and then we pulse up again. Inhale, if your neck's okay, let the head go back, chin tucks. And then scoop it out. One more of these. Inhale, strengthening. Tabletop, reverse tabletop, and then exhale. And let's go ahead and just roll onto the ball of the feet, opening the toes, walking our hands forward, and to eventually our forward fold. Uttanasana. The hip width apart. Go ahead and shake gently from side to side. Relaxing and casting aside unnecessary mental burdens. Oh, letting go. That's the key. The art form. A lot of practice at it. And we're going to come up and we're going to either rounded spine or straight spine. You know your spine, so you decide what works best for you. Rounded, we're shaking it out. Straight chair pose. Yes. To come up. And coming into our mountain. Rooting down. Feel that support of each other and the earth and lengthening up through the crown. Sure. Okay. All right. We're going to invite others to the mat like we like we do, if you'd like to dedicate your healing and anyone else's, whatever you would, prayers of care you want to offer to another or a group of others, you're welcome to certainly bring them in. Breathing into your heart, softening the shoulders. Knowing that as we practice, we're opening to the higher consciousness, that divine, the dawning of higher consciousness within ourselves and all beings. Okay? Tapping into the spiritual eye, tapping into the crown, lengthening up. You decide what kind of back bend you want to do. Usually, you know, if you just started, you didn't do any movement before the class, keep it gentle at first. Exhale. Inhale, come into center. And swan diving forward, hinging at the hips. Spine elongates. You can always use a block or a bolster. You want to keep your spine more elongated. Sometimes when you've got back issues, that works. Otherwise, forward fold it. Full body stretch, downward facing dog. Step it back and tread it out. Really, really open as one knee bends into that opposite hamstring. Bring in any quality you like. In this affirmation, it usually is attuned to the calm energy we're affirming that radiates through every cell of your body, every fiber of your being. And if you want to bring in the love, love radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Open the toes. Let's add that wave-like movement, bending the knees, rippling, like water, fluidity in our form. One more time. And we're going to come onto our knees to transition just a couple pats from our down dog. So we'll have the wrists underneath the shoulders. Inhale, scoop out the low, mid, upper back, eye gaze up. And then exhale, rounded spine, drawing in. Really make that exhale, letting go. Inhale one more time. Scoop it out. And then exhaling. Okay, neutral spine for a moment. Transition over here into our puppy pose. So this is the extension with the knees bent. Okay, and then we're going to come onto our forearms, like I like to cue for our forearm plank. Feel the strength there. Reach to the heels, and then come on top of the knees. And then let's just a little bit differently today. So how I classically teach is just starting to engage the legs, of course, pressing through the tops of the feet, but also the spine. Now we're going to add a twist in our cobra. So what this looks like is our fingertips are going to point in. Okay, we're going to lift up halfway, keep those legs engaged. Try not to jam up the shoulders, ease them down as much as you can. And then look over your right shoulder. Pulse back up. Kind of like when we do goddess squats with the upper body, but we're in cobra. Exhale, Bhujangasana. Look over the left shoulder to the left elbow. Yes. Inhale, do this a couple times. See how you like it. Twisting more strongly in our cobra. And let's engage, especially as you lift up and then over, recharging the spine. And then inhale back up. And let's take that pause before we come up into full Bhujangasana. So as we're on our belly now, Stack one hand on top of the other. Rest at the spiritual eye. Large toes in. Let's just do a full yogic breath here. So you want to do the retention you can. Belly, ribs, heart, shoulders expand. And then the exhale, the melting down. Exhale a little bit more than you think. Do a couple full yogic breaths here, enjoying the pause. Thinking of when we can bring those conscious pauses into our life in a meditative, mindful way. There could be a lot of numbing out pauses we do, but to be more conscious about the mindful pauses, we'll feel better. And then we'll rise up into Bhujangasana. So hands underneath the shoulders and legs strong, pressing to the tops of the feet. Inhale, coming up, maybe on the knees, maybe off the knees. Lion's breath. Stick out the tongue. Eye gaze up. Shoulders away from the ears. Again. Boosting our immune system is important, as well as mood enhancing, especially at this dark time of the year. One more if you can. Fantastic. And then as you come down, let those knees touch. Transition, rounded cat. Scoop it out. Neutral spine. And hover the knees, strength as we magnetize the heart toward the thighs. Bringing that quality, calmness, peace, love, radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Stable or flowing or combination. Let's add 5 fire Kapalabhati breaths. Navel to the spine. Exhale through the nose strongly. Slow it down. Step one foot, then the other forward. Step one hand, then the other. See what feels best to you as we rest in Uttanasana, slight bend of the knees. Hands at the hollows, at the elbows. Shake down, any unnecessary worry, bringing in those prayers of care for yourself, for others. How gentle and kind can you be to yourself here? And we're going to sweep the arms back, heart lifts, head lifts, and sweep up into our mountain pose, our standing pose. First, the arms up, heels off the ground, and then feel the space all around. Pull around. Yeah. Take a moment, reset into our mountain. Breathe into the heart. How are you feeling it? Breathe. Heart check-in, body, mind, and feeling. Might be shifted, might have stayed, just might be subtle, might be the same, but it will shift most likely by the end of class. All right, we keep flowing, we keep vinyasa flowing with awareness. And we'll go ahead again, opening to that higher consciousness. These are the upper chakras, heart, spiritual eye, crown of the head. Open this time of year. Exhale, add the back bend. Inhale, lengthen up. And of course, we're going to swan dive forward again. Reaching out your hips. Swan dive forward.
And this time, if possible in your practice, take it back to three-legged dog, when the inner borders of the feet come together. Keep magnetizing the heart toward the thighs. Open up the toes. See if you can see the mat between the toes. If possible, this may not be possible for everybody, do what you can. The right leg maybe lifts up. And then we're gonna open the hip, bend that right knee, and then open to the side a couple times if possible, or keep that leg up. Or just step it forward and lunge if this isn't possible to do the leg extension. We're gonna come forward with that right foot. Come to the side so you can see.
And here, think of like a pigeon. We're not quite coming into pigeon. So I'm going to bring my hand inside the knee and we're going to bend that knee. And we're going to kind of swivel the hips side to side. So my hands are angled here. It's more of a flow for the hips. Open the hips in our lunge. We'll get to pigeon later, but this is like a prep for our pigeon, back, our hips, our knees. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I can't help but feel what the body's feeling here, right? Very good. And then on top of the left knee, walk this right foot out to the side. You can use a blanket. Use a blanket here. Fold it up in the best way, but we're doing the best we can. We're gonna rise up. And just see where I'm going to invite you to do one of these cactus arms, knee down lunges with the knee on the ground, and then we'll take the knee off the ground. So we're just prepping here, or you can stay here and do it. So as you exhale, elbows come down and bring the forearms toward one another. Okay. I attune my will to the source of all power. I'll do two here. Now notice the difference. I'm going to bring my hands down. You can have blocks by your side. When we come off of that knee, it's a little wonky here, out to the side. We're going to come upright just to get stabilized. Turn the hips forward. Come off that back heel. So the toes are facing forward at the front of the mat on both sides. You can either be on the knee again, on the ground, or in that same movement now, as we exhale, the knee comes down, doesn't have to touch, in fact, my knee isn't touching. And then we're going to just pulse the arms up, not bring them together. Look at a drishti point in front of you. I attune my will to the source of all power. I attune my will to the source of all power. Okay, if you want to tap it down where you can. And then classic Virabhadrasana 1. So the back foot spins 30 degrees. Now it's a little easier to bring those forearms forward. Yes. Okay. Opening the heart, reaching behind you. Inhale, and then coming forward. Right shoulder can touch the knee, head bows to the wisdom of the heart. Ease those hips down. Open the front toes. Bowing to the wisdom of the heart, the love of the heart. Let it lead the way. And we're coming up and dancing our warrior. So this right knee is bent. We come up. I'm kind of facing away from you, but we sweep up into our Virabhadrasana 2. Turn around so it doesn't get confusing. Okay. So take a few pulses here. Shoulders, hips, and this is strong flow. Strength flow. Opening up. Dancing our warrior. There's a saying in yoga, transform the worrier, W-O-R, to the warrior. I joyfully open to the power of the divine. Just like we did on our backs, we're opening into our warrior. Okay, couple pulses, and then we sweep and come into our down dog. So we just, I'll go this way.
Confuse myself when I dance around the mat, but I'll figure it out. Okay, step it back. Back and forth. Flow. Side to side. Calmness, peace, love radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. And then we come into our plank and chaturanga and unfurl the toes, rock side to side. This is our pause. As we inhale, rise up. Lion's breath. Couple times. All right, knees touch down, and here's our classic rest before we go to the other side. Knees go wide, prayer pose. Melting into the support of the earth. Pause with conscious breath practice. So consciously breathing. So good for the mind. Okay. Sweeping back when you're ready. Turning the toes under, transitioning, pouring back into forward fold, Uttanasana. This time with the palms underneath the soles of the feet. Rocking side to side, releasing any built up tension in the wrists. Navel to the spine. Emptying out. Mentally, digestively, we're going to release the hands, come into our chair pose, walk our feet in a little bit, but not too much. Arms back and sweeping up. One more time, cut through. Checked in with your mind, and there's some funky stuff going there. You can name it, and then slice it symbolically. What do we want to bring in? Do those joy qualities. Joy kosha, Anandamaya kosha within us. Feel that subtle energy coming up through the central channel of the spine, through the spiritual eye out in front of you. And then receiving that light, wisdom prana. We just need to open to it. It's here, and now we're receiving it. Self-offering on the inhale, receiving on the exhale. Okay. So we've got our lunge, knee down, bend series. To the other side, so if you're using, I moved my blanket out, but if you're using here, you may still have yours there. Right foot goes forward, so the left foot comes forward. Oh yeah, we started in three-legged dog. We started from a classic. So setting myself up as ourselves up as we tap into the spiritual eye, round. Up and over. Good. Inhales. Look in front. Step back to three-legged dog. And three-legged dog, inner borders of the feet together. Let's see what happens with this left leg. Then we can lift up Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Maybe you can open those hips with this bending the knee a couple times. And then seeing what happens when we step forward. Looking forward, starting on the ground. Put that right knee down. So if this whole, I should have said last time, if this doesn't work for you, you can modify any pose you want, okay? Find a pose if any of these don't work. But let's get set up for the, I attune my will to the source of all power. Okay, now we come off of that back heel. Okay, so if this is too much to come off the back heel, you can do your classic Virabhadrasana one here, no problem. Otherwise, it's a lot to come down, tap down, and then rise up. I attune my will to the source of all power. So we can do 3 of these. And then bring the forearms together. And then reach out with, now we're spinning that back foot 30 degrees. Reaching up and around, deepening into the lunge. Into our warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1, Vira 1. Reaching and interlocking. This is in your practice. Coming forward. Left shoulder toward that left knee, head relaxes down, knuckles up to the sky. Ease those hips down if possible. Couple breaths here. We're opening to the wisdom and love of the heart. Mind bowing to the wisdom and the love of the heart. And now we're going to come up. We're going to try to dance our warrior up. That means just sweeping. You can use your left hand as support for a moment. Out to the side. Root down. It's called rising and rooting. So we're rooting down shoulders and hips. Okay, opening. Now notice when the palms turn up. And then bring this palm down. Dancing our warrior. Opening up to grace as we joyfully manifest the power of the divine by opening up to what's already here, already whole, already free. One more time. It's strong. Now, exhale. That's the warrior. And that strength, that inner strength. And that will soften the worrier of what we cannot control. And then we just sweep forward here. Woo. Rotate off the back heel. And you guessed it, step it back to our plank. And either knee, chest, chin, chaturanga or classic chaturanga all the way down. All the way down, need to rest, really rest. Stacking the hands, resting at the spiritual eye. And let's try that breath retention as we're on our belly. So exhale completely. Inhale, belly expands, hold. Inhale, ribs expand, hold. Inhale to the upper chest, hold, and exhale. You may notice how much more powerfully you can let go when you do breath retention. Really interesting pranayama practices of breath retention. And that's recharging all of those internal organs in those areas that are really helping to boost the immune system as well. So it's got these great health benefits of recharging and then the letting go of softening and melting. Both are interplaying. All right, let's do a locust while we're down here. Inhale, rise up. Now reach back. Super person pose. If you can, use a strap if this isn't accessible to inner Y.
And then lift the feet, the legs, and then tap one foot down, exhale through the mouth. Switch. Switch. Switch, just 4 times. Switch. Okay. And then hands come underneath you. We're going to rise it up as promised for Ekapada Rajakapatanasana, pigeon pose. All right, so we're going to ease back. If you want the blanket underneath one hip, if it lifts off the ground, that's helpful. And just either step your right foot forward. I actually find it easier to go back to down dog myself and then step forward. That any way you can get there. Step forward and bring this foot over. Oh, I just remembered to do that shimmy shake for the hips on the other side. Okay, we will do it on the left because I forgot on the right. Okay, so we're here. Turn the toes under, palm of that left foot, come on top of the right. Get the heart open. Shake the upper chest. Rising up and melting down. So again, if this right cheek is off the ground, use a blanket underneath you, letting go. The mind does, we know the mind's always going past and future, but we're letting it come into the present by focusing on the breath, focusing on the body, focusing on the affirmation, and resting and floating in this eternal presence. And eternal presence is already whole, already free, already aware. Notice the pattern of your breath now, naturally, without doing anything to it. Just tune into it. Okay. And then rise up. There's the calming effect as we have the head in line with the heart or lower, but now the energizing effect. So back bends, this is always bring more energy to the body. Forward bends, more calmness. We want to balance the both, of course. Before we go the other side, we're purposely going to go onto that right cheek. And then bend this left knee. And this is really great for our knees and our hips and our joints as we draw that right knee up. And the left foot up, back and forth. Rocking horse, this is called. This is somatic exercise. It's not a classic yoga, but it's a body movement with awareness, back and forth. Ah, nice. Before we do pigeon and to the other side, let's take this left knee and bring it either in front of the shin or on the outside of the thigh. Try to root down through both sit bones or use a blanket if it's off there. You don't feel balanced, you want more support. Shoulders soften, pause. Twist. Feel the right corner of the abdomen coming over to the left. Massaging the internal organs. Maybe you want to squeeze that knee in. Hug it. Maybe you want to bring that elbow on the outside of the knee, chin parallel. Exhale, twisting. Cleaning the literal, this junk out physically and emotionally. This is so great for that, looking over your shoulder, and something maybe live in nature if you're can access a window where you're at. Or whatever, just notice whatever you're seeing. And that'll bring us into this moment. And I'm coming back. And taking a moment and feeling that cleansing action, if possible, knee on top of knee. This is a double pigeon. This is really getting into the outer hips, and just tune in to the breath. Soften the eyes, soften the jaw, soften the shoulders. Full yogic breath on your next inhale, belly, ribs, heart, collarbones expand, open through the crown. Exhale, softening. Okay. Unravel the legs. So we're going to not approach it from the down dog, but stepping that right leg back. And I forgot to do that kind of deal, warm up side to side, even though we're warmed up, and bring my hand in front of the left knee, just keep it all balanced, side to side. Our hips easy, side to side. Prepping, pigeon prep. And then we let that knee come down, bend the left knee, bring the left heel somewhere around by the right hip, on top of that right knee for now. Get that fluffy open heart. Open to the upper chakras. Open to the flow of joy and spiritual eye. As we exhale, we descend. Oh, you use a blanket with your cheeks off the ground. Lots of variations. You can bring your arms out. I like to bend the elbows and rest. Let the spiritual eye. Whatever works for you. As we're tapping in to our non-dual nature. This is the joy center here, that we're not in the past or the future. We're in the presence, or present. Releasing the past and the future and resting in the eternal now, the presence, the present moment, whatever language speaks to you. Already whole, already free. The masters are inviting us to come back to our true nature. And the individual self is rest in the higher self. That is yoga. As we inhale, we come up. And we want to be compassionate to our ego. So it's got limitations. But we're working on it psychologically. But by bringing up into the upper chakras, it's going to be so much easier to allow ourselves to feel those higher chakras. So let's do our pigeon, our rocking horse. So the right knee by the left foot, we lift up on the outside of that left knee. We hold on to the large toe side of that right foot. We go back and forth. Bringing out our 5-year-old self, playful. That's one of the branches on our tree, checking in. When we think we did the mind, mind, body, heart, but the heart is, how playful are we allowing ourselves to be? That could be part of it. Okay, bring your right knee in, either in front of the shin, more on the outside of the knee. Lengthening up, hugging your knee, twisting, so that left corner of the abdomen to the right now. Exhale, looking over the shoulder. we'll just stay here. Just stay here looking out, whatever you're seeing, just notice the texture, notice the color. That'll bring us into the present moment as well. So there's present moment and there's presence as we come back. Lengthen and grow. If it's in your practice to go knee on top of knee, widen those feet apart. You're going to get into the outer hips, or just in butterfly, whatever you can do to take a couple rounds of conscious breathing here. Feel that. Draw that energy on your next inhale up into the what's called the astral spine, the central channel, up into the spiritual eye, out in front of you, and then slightly up, and then receiving on the exhalation. Light, wisdom, calmness, joy. We're going to transition into figure 4. And I just want to demonstrate that figure 4 can be done a lot of different ways. I taught it, I think, mostly on the back, but it can be a balanced pose. So let's just keep, we're already there practically, okay? So we're here, we're going to flex through that right foot. We're going to bring our chest forward. Now this may be your figure 4, and that's quite a bit. If you can, roll, and I should say use a post here in front of you. This isn't going to be in everybody's practice, but we'll see how we do here. We roll forward, roll forward, and just see if we can balance. Look at a point in front of you, and you'll know, you're like, oh no, I'm not taking my hands off the ground. If you want one hand, then the other. It's actually easier if I come forward a little bit and then try to work on the balance. Or maybe not. Okay, so it's good to laugh at ourselves. Maybe it's not. It's not happening for me today to bring the hands off the ground on this side. So I'm going to come back down, and we're going to do our figure 4 on the ground. Let's try it on the other side too, just because every side's different. Use your elbow wedge there. Opening up, releasing the back, maybe opening up the hamstring or using the strap at the same as well. And just take that in, take that hip opening, the back release, the hamstring release. Be tempted to do the balance. It's actually, it seems easier to me to go from standing, but we don't have time to set that all up for a figure 4 standing. And from the ground up, but it may be different for you. Before we go to the other side, do a little flow here. Draw that right knee in and that foot down. What this flow is going to be, this helps to release the back. I'm going to inhale, lift the feet off the ground. The arms come up. The legs come up. We exhale. Come back down, and then bend the knees. Okay, so it's also brain gym going on. Inhale, feet come up, arms come up. Exhale, legs extend, and arms and feet come back down. Keep the low back plugged in, that's key here. Okay, inhale, feet come up, arms come up. Exhale, legs extend, and then back together. Okay. The left knee bends, we're going to take it from our figure 4 on our back, and that triangle of space, reach through, flex through your foot, use your elbow to open up the hip.
Extend the leg if you want. You could stay here, you can reach underneath the knee, you could use a strap. And stretch through the hamstring as you open the hip and breathe. Checking in on the exhale and the inhale and the pauses in between. So working with those pauses today, and working with pauses off the mat then as you go soon into the rest of the day. Mindful pauses to practice off the mat. And then let's just, explore what's going on here. Maybe we want to just take it onto the forearms and see what that's like. And then, curious what happens here as I bring my chest toward my shin. That's quite a lot, right? That's quite a lot. If you want, and you may not want to, see what happens as we pull up. And if this works for you, come on to a figure 4. So I just tasted that. I'm not asking you to do it, but I'm just going to demo. So if you ever felt like trying figure 4 from the top down, you would be here looking at a point in front of you and working on the balance like this. I find this much easier than the ground down. Okay. And then you bring your hands down and then you come into your figure 4 and then rest on your back again. All right. Okay. So just want to clarify that. Much harder from this position we're in to balance. But maybe we might be doing it. I can't tell. Just see the ceilings when we do the floor work. Okay, we're going to do a release again. So we're coming back down. We're going to add to that flow we just did our bridge pose before we go into Shavasana. Okay, so we draw that left knee in, we plant the foot down. We'll just flow along, maybe arcing curl here, releasing your lumbar, your low back. Great to release the back, the lumbar with the arcing curl. And then let's add the side to side from hip to hip, right corner of the hip to left. Knees move a little bit, but we're ironing out forward and back and side to side. Okay, then releasing the back, strengthening the core. Inhale, legs up. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, legs extend. And then the arms and the legs come down before our bridge pose. If you want to block, you can use it for your sacrum. Wedge goes in. Exhale, ripple up. And rock those shoulders underneath you. Maybe interlock, maybe not. Chin tucking to the hollow of the throat. Our thoughts and energy, our thoughts, a bridge pose, it's bridging what we think is a big factor in how we feel. And we know that, but we're making our thoughts more conscious. Well, that's what affirmations, that's the core of affirmations. My thoughts and energy reach up to touch the sky. So our thoughts are very powerful. When we consciously affirm, the thoughts and energy reach up to touch the sky. Maybe the arms come up overhead, maybe they don't. This is more advanced, it could be too much. Exhaling, melting down, upper, mid, low back. Just strengthening your back, very, very strengthening. Dig the sacrum into the earth. Exhale, flatten. Now, it could be too much on the lumbar to go into Supta Baddha Konasana. You may want to draw the knees in, or you may want to use a bolster, and you can bring it up higher
release any overarching, it's still gonna arc, but just take a moment, one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Notice the mind, how you're feeling right now. If you logged in a number before, notice how you're feeling now. Your body. And your heart. The feeling on your heart. Taking the three-part baseline, your mind, body, and heart. And getting ready for Shavasana, deep relaxation, where we just absorb all these openings. Pathways have been cleared, the stuck energy has been released, energy centers have been open, flowing. And just see how you want to receive that. Do you want to be in a supported shoulder stand? Like imagine my legs against the wall. Do you want to be in the classic Shavasana? If you have low back, I would have your legs on like a ball or a chair, or even so your back releases. So I'd say the ball is here, your calves would be on the ball. Right, so if there isn't no back issues going on, you want more of a heart opener, you know all this, but I like to review it. We're here. Heart expansion, but you do want to get warm and cozy. You do want that. So getting your socks, a blanket, just getting really warm. All on, take a drink of water. Getting set up for rest. And rest and digest, it's called. Okay. Oh, so. Very good. Okay, so we are going to get started now that we're comfortable, making sure you any position that's going to help ease even further. For some of us, that'll be easing the head from side to side, depending on your position. We'll start from the top down. So upper chakra, the crown. Connecting, opening the 1,000-petal lotus at the crown of the head. To kindness and compassion, or whatever quality you'd like to bring in. It's here, it's more about attuning to those qualities. And letting the forehead soften, the muscles around the eyes relax, especially the eyelids. And notice the gentle transition from the two becoming one, the gentle focus at the spiritual eye inwardly. Coming home to the joy center, the joy quotient. Again, already whole, already free, already aware. Relaxing the upper and lower jaw, right and left sides. And notice on your next inhale, the cool air coming in through the nostrils. Maybe even coolness at the spiritual eye. And the warm, cooked air coming out of the nostrils. And the pauses in between. A lot with pause. Notice sensation inside the mouth, the tongue, the teeth, the gums. Sense of taste. And then that oceanic sound, very audible at the back of the throat. Really have a better sense in Shavasana of that depth of the ocean of who we are as it ripples on the surface, either calm or choppy, big waves crashing, but there's an awareness of the compassionate observer, and returning to that compassionate observer as we allow the shoulders to soften. And just go down that right side, that right shoulder, feel it ease away from the right ear. Feel the natural bend at the elbow on the right side. Natural bend of the wrist on the right side. Sensation in the palm of the right hand. And just noticing the right tip of the thumb, tip of the index, finger, middle, ring, and little fingertip on the right side. And shifting attention to the lunar side, the left shoulder. Let the left shoulder ease away from the ear. Natural bend at the left elbow. Natural bend at the left wrist. And pulsation, sensation in the left palm of the hand. The tip of the left thumb. Left index, middle, tip of the ring, tip of the little finger. Radiant sensation there. Breathing into the fullness of the heart. And resting in that basic goodness inside of you, trusting that basic goodness. Front, back, and sides of the heart, ventilating. Turning and trusting your path home to the heart. Dropping into the center of your body, the belly, the low back. And just allowing the breath to permeate this entire area. Gentle pause at the top of the inhale. And a longer pause at the end of the exhale. And moving toward that solar side of the right cheek, the right hip, the right thigh, the right knee, the right calf, the right ankle, all the way through to the sole of the right foot and the digits of the toes. The large toe, second, third, fourth, the toe side of the right foot. Bringing attention to the left hip, the left cheek, the left thigh, the left knee, the left calf, left ankle, sole of the foot, left large toe, fourth, third, second, and middle toe side of the left foot. Relax. Sensation. Feeling the entire body now, the global body. You're resting on your back. The back body is most likely more heavy. And the front body is a little lighter. Sacred invitation. Many of the teachers, masters invite us to point us back to the awakened soul within. And of course, you're welcome to rest longer if in a deep state of interiorization, the beauty of the home practice. Many benefits there. If you do want to return to movement, you could do so slowly at your own pace and time. And sending prayers of care again to others. You can do this in your Shavasana. You could do it seated, visualizing anyone you would love to send healing energy to. Not the spiritual eye. And through the Om sound, the Om, 3-syllable Om sound, you send healing energy and those prayers of care to others. So let the slow inhalation happen and let the sound come from your heart. And bringing the hands over the heart and namaste, acknowledging that divine awareness within you, within everyone, and with everything. That's where we are one in that conscious awareness. Inviting you to take those conscious pauses throughout your day and